Yep.
All right. Traveling Paradise is for me Ernst Lubitsch's ultimate masterpiece, even much more than To Be or Not to Be and so on and so on. It's the best critique of capitalism and a wonderful reversal of the usual logic of transgression. Because the point is that the hero's life as a robber and so on, crime life is normal life. And then transgression is precisely the idea to marry and so on. Sweet Smell of Success, well, it's a nice depiction of the corruption of American press. Picnic at Hanging Rock, I simply like early Peter Weir movies. Especially those settled around some mystery, like there is a certain, it's like his version of Stalker, you know, you have an area which is the zone, and then you never really learn what happens in the zone. Murmur of the Heart, it's one of those nice, gentle French movies where you have incest, which is portrayed as a nice secret between mother and son. I like this. I think this is because of the Joke. Joke is the first novel by Milan Kundera, and I think it's his only good novel. After that, it all goes down. Ice Storm, I have a perfect personal attachment to this film. When James Shamus was writing the scenario, he told me that he was reading a book of mine and that my theoretical book was inspiration. So it's personal reason, but I also love the movie. Great Expectations, I'm simply a big fan of Dickens, and all the great classical Dickens movies, I like to have them. Rossellini's history films, I prefer them. These late, long, boring TV movies. I think that the so-called great Rossellinis, for example, recently I saw Germany Year Zero and so on, they no longer really work. I think this is the Rossellini to be rehabilitated. City Lights, what is there to say this? It's one of the greatest movies of all times, the most sublime ending. You know that I have a hot photo, even Charlie Chaplin, here at Radio City Hall in New York at the premiere, he cried. It's simply one of the absolute movies. Dreyer, it's more out of my love for Denmark. It's nice to know that already in the 20s, 30s, Denmark was cinematic superpower. And later declined, and I simply like Dreyer. Okay, this is for obvious personal reason. I do the comment, although I must say that my favorite Quaron is Children of Men, which is otherwise a failure, and Antichrist, I will probably not like it, but I like von Trier. And it's simply part of a duty. So, I just love watching movies. I must confess that I cheat sometimes. If the movie drags on, I do a little bit of fast forward or whatever and so on. But the reason I like Criterion is that even if it's a bad movie, you usually get a good running commentary and all the making of stuff and so on. And sometimes, I must say, I enjoy this additional stuff more than movie itself. For example, Werner Herzog, Fitzgeraldo. I think it's a pretentious fake. The other one, similar movie, Aguirre, The Wrath of Gods, is much better. But there is, I think the title is The Burden of Dreams, a documentary on the making of Fitzgeraldo. I think it's much better than the movie itself. So that's why I like Criterion. Forget the movie. I'm a corrupted theorist, you know. Screw the movie. I like to learn all around the movie, how it was. Which is why, frankly, if you were to ask me one Criterion box set, I would have said Eisenstein Sound Years. Because what you learn there about all the visual problems making of Ivan the Terrible, and then you also get reconstructed, just like a Chris Marker movie, shot by shot, some photos that survive of that disappeared masterpiece, Bejin Meadow, Bejin Look, which I think that Bejin Look, Eisenstein, is one of the three mega tragedies of the history of cinema. It's Bejin Look is that he wasn't allowed to finish part 3 of Ivan the Terrible, and of course, I mean, quite traditional here, Orson Welles' Magnificent Ambersons. I think if finished, it would have been, I think, better than Citizen Kane. So again, that's why I like Criterion, because I'm totally theoretically corrupted. What you do with the film, comments and so on, are often better, more interesting than the thing itself.